A beautiful evening to you and welcome to yet another edition of Sports Extra right here on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Emmanuel Michael, glad to be here this evening to take you through the happenings in the world of sports. And the talking point on the show this evening is about the African Cup of Nations. Of course, the AFCON kicked off yesterday with host country Morocco beating Comoros 2-0 in the opening match. The big question is, will Morocco host this African Cup of Nations edition and win? I will definitely do well to answer that question. Of course, Arsenal, they labored to beat Everton 1-0 over the weekend in the English Premier League to maintain a slim 2-point lead over second place Manchester City, who hammered West Ham United 3-0. Can we now say that Arsenal are beginning to show signs of weakness in the title chase? All this and many more is going to form the bulk of our conversation here on the show this evening. But this evening, I have two big guests in the studio with me. When I'm back from this short break, I'll do it to introduce these two guests. And of course, we'll get to dissect all that you need to know on the show this evening. Stick with us, because we'll be back in a jiffy. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. I'm not alone here this evening because I have two gentlemen, staunch Arsenal fans, in the building with me as they make their guest appearance on Atlantic Television Network this evening. On the right with me is Abio Hossel, but I call him Abio Sekibo, Gunners faithful. Abio, good evening and welcome to Atlantic Television.
Good evening, Mike. Good evening, Port City. It's nice to be here. It's nice to hear. It's nice to talk sports.
All right, nice to talk sports indeed. And of course, in the right-hand side with me, I have Olanik Bekun Solomon, a.k.a. Ola. He is Arsenal chairman, the whole of Ogbogoro. He's in the building this evening. Ola, good evening and welcome to Atlantic Television.
Good evening, Mr. Mike. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Atlantic Network Television.
All right, before we move on to the big stories popping up from the world of football, let's talk a bit of boxing on the show this evening because AJ, Anthony Joshua, yes, nearly broke the jaw of Jake Paul over the weekend in their heavyweight bouts round 8, but then that did not last up to round 8 as Anthony Joshua, forced Jake Paul to, of course, drop down the canvas in the 6th round with a very right-hand devastating, blow, which shifted the jaw of Jake Paul. But then, big money involved in that very one, over 270 billion naira. Was involved, and this money was split in equal proportion among these two fighters. So Anthony Joshua, he has called out, yes, the big talking one, talking about Tyson Fury, and he also took a dig against a former heavyweight champion in the person of Iron Mike Tyson. But then I don't want to go there. Anthony Joshua seems to gradually building back his momentum back after that embarrassing or devastating defeat he suffered in the hands of Daniel Dubois. Let's see what would be his next line of action. Remain a very big question, but then we'll wait to see what Anthony Joshua brings to the table in his next fight. Is he going to be Gypsy King, the Tyson Fury? Is he going to be against the Bruce Bomber? Is it going to be maybe Zeleziang? We just wait and see. And of course, his promoter, Eddie Hearn, is also talking tough. But then, in the days to come, we'll see how all of this is going to pan out. But let's leave that aside and head straight to the English Premier League because there were some matches, that lit up our TV screen over the weekend in the Nigerian Premier Football League. And of course, Abia Warriors, indeed, they proved to be warrior because they beat Warri Wolves 1-0. Enugu Rangers also got a better of Ikorodu City 2-1. Kwara United, indeed, they united in order to disunite Bayelsa United 2-0. Remo Stars lost at home 3-2 to Bendel Insurance. And of course, the Shooting Stars, they shot past Niger Tornadoes 2-1. While Wiki Torres played 0-0 against Kun Khalifat FC. Today's match, yes, currently ongoing as we speak, between Katsina United, of course, Rivers United. Abie, are you surprised that Remo Stars, who won the league last season, is actually struggling? In fact, as we speak, Remo Stars are within the 15th and 16th position, whereas they are the current champion. Do you see them, going to relegation after winning the league last season?
Actually, I'm not surprised seeing them faltering because last season when they carried the cup and they qualified for CAF Champions League, I know they are not going to do fine because they don't have the capability, the players to do such. When you qualify for Africa, you need players. So that in case when you go for you play outside, when you're coming back, you what they call fatigue. Yeah. And to me, I feel fatigue is the main problem of Remo Stars now. They've not experienced what they're experiencing now before. And me too, I'm very, very surprised. I'm surprised when I saw Remo Stars at that position on the table. I was like, I've been noticing Remo Stars in the league last season that they are very formidable in their home. But this season, they are conceding goals in their home that last season they hardly conceded. So this is the way I'm seeing. I'm so surprised. I'm surprised seeing them. I'm surprised seeing Remo Stars playing the way they are playing the ball. I mean, it baffles me. Yesterday, losing yesterday, so surprised.
Surprised that Remo Stars, after winning the league last season, they are struggling. When I mean struggling, serious struggle this season. Of course, they were beaten at their home ground, over the weekend. And it's not a good one at all. Maybe because of the fact that they failed to sign, new players. Because of course, Remo Stars is owned by a private owner in the person of Kunle Tsunami, who runs a private, a club right here. And we can tell you that bulk of the players that won the league last season, they are no longer with the team because they've been sold out. And the team, Remo Stars, they depend majorly on their academy, and that is why they failed to beef up the squad. But then you cannot use such, you can't lose such a vital player that helped you to lift the league, and you expect to, do well this season. We'll just wait and see how far they can go for this season. But Ola, let's talk about our own Rivers United. Rivers United, they are currently topping the league table. In fact, before they played their game against Barao FC on Friday, they were on top of the league, 31 points. Barao FC, they are newly promoted side, and we thought maybe Rivers United is going to beat them silly, but then it didn't pan out that way. They were beaten. Rivers United were beaten 4-1 after taking the first lead in the 4th minute. With the way Rivers United, find it difficult to score goals, do you see Rivers United winning this year's Nigerian Premier Football League title?
Yes. Because I believe they are doing well. In the CAF Champions League, they are in. And in the league, they are doing well. I see them winning this league because everything is about managing the game, controlling the game of the time of the game. Because after losing a match, you try to pick back your form and you win the match. So I believe that Rivers United is going to win.
All right, we'll wait to see how Rivers United is going to respond after that defeat on Friday. This evening, they are currently in action. Can they get a win? We'll just wait to see. But then, let's head straight to the big one, because the African Cup of Nations officially kicked off yesterday as the host, Morocco, began their African Cup of Nations Cup campaign on a winning note on Sunday, overcoming Comoros 2-0 in a tournament opening match at the Prince Mola Abdallah Stadium in Rabat, Morocco. After a tense and frustrating first half, second half goals from Brahim Diaz and substitute Ayob El Kabi finally broke Comoros' resistance and sent the home crowd of over 60,000 into celebration on a cold, wet night in the capital of Morocco. The match was attended by Moroccan Crown Prince Mola Hassan, who appeared on the pitch before kickoff, and FIFA President Gianni Infantino also was there. Ola, yesterday, Morocco, they showed indeed that they were hosting this very one, not just to host for the fun of it, but they want to win it. But then, you take a look at the way they struggled against Comoros in the first half. They failed to break down this Comoros side. Do you see Morocco hosting and winning the AFCON this year?
Yes, I believe they are going to win it, because I know that it's a bad first half, yes, but coming into the second half of the game, they changed the game. Unknowingly to Comoros, it was a quick play of Ibrahim Diaz that brought the goal. And I believe with him in the team doing well, Morocco is going to win the African Cup of Nations.
All right, wait to see if Morocco is certainly going to win the African Cup of Nations. Abie, this African football is growing. There are smaller teams before that you say, oh, this one is a small team when they come up against the big team. But these days, football is not like that. That is why we are seeing a small country like even Cape Verde, even qualifying for the World Cup. This Comoros we are talking about is a small island nation that even River State is even bigger than. So with what you've seen, Morocco, they played fine football, they control the tempo of the game, but they find it very difficult to break the defense line of Comoros in the first half. Do you think that if teams with more experience play against Morocco, will Morocco survive?
First of all, I would say, football don't change this time.
Yeah, definitely.
Small team that you see a small team, but the kind of the turn up, they will turn up. To be very, very surprised. But coming to Morocco, they played well. They played well. I watched them match. They played well, and it was very, very entertaining. Just that the goals did not come, but they tried at least. They collected two goals for the 9 minutes, second half. But with the way they played that ball, I'm not fully convinced of Morocco winning this tournament, because I've not seen other teams play. Because it's just the first match, and you will not just conclude with the first match that they played. But with the way they played that ball, they tried, but I won't give it to them, because there are so other strong countries. Countries like Senegal, we have Senegal, South Africa, and even our own Super Eagles. So it's going to be a very tough one for Morocco. If Morocco need to win this cup that they host, they need to be in their A game. They need to bring out their A game. If not, it's not going to be easy for them. Just look at what they played against Comoros. Like we said, Comoros is a very small island, a small country that you just see, we just whitewash them off, but it wasn't like that yesterday. At least they tried to that thing to show you that football has evolved and it has changed. It's not what you see as a walk over, it's not walk over in a 10-man. A lie. Football has changed. So Morocco need to know that this is Africa, not the last World Cup they played. They tried the last World Cup they played, but this one is Africa. African football is different from European football. African football, my brother, you have to be fit, strong. So Morocco, they tried yesterday, but they need to do more, because the tournament is just kicking off, and they are going to jam strong countries. And when I mean strong countries, they're going to jam strong. So they need to be at their A game and to put their best. So that's what I say, Morocco.
All right, Morocco need to be at their A game if they truly want to host and win this year's edition of the African Cup of Nations. It was a very difficult game for them last night against Comoros, who some persons has even written off even before the game last night. But then they proved their doubters strong. Though they lost the game, but then they gave everything, especially in the first half, before falling to the firepower of the goals that came from the boot of Brahim Diaz, and of course that massive, and of course a glorious bicycle kick from Kabeb. Today we saw, Mali, yes, couldn't hold on because they played 1-1 against Chimpolopolo of Zambia. Yes, the game ended 1-1. Zambia had to leave it late, 90 plus 2 minutes to draw level to make it 1-1. So the second game of the African Cup of Nations, Mali versus Zambia, it ended 1-1 apiece. And of course, a few minutes as we speak, South Africa will be up against Angola in Group B by 9 p.m. And of course, Egypt as well will be in action against Zimbabwe, 9 p.m. Nigerian time. Moving on, the Super Eagles have continued preparation ahead of their tomorrow's clash. Yes, far away in Morocco. On Sunday, they had a pep, training before moving over to continue their final preparation as they hope to, beat Tanzania come tomorrow. Nigeria, Tanzania will face off at the Complex Sportif, in that Group C encounter come tomorrow. But then before we move on, let's take a critical analysis of this Super Eagles game tomorrow. Abie, Nigeria Super Eagles, not too many people are so excited, to see Nigeria play tomorrow. Maybe because of the fact that they failed to qualify for the World Cup. But beyond the World Cup failure, do you see the Super Eagles translating that failure of not qualifying to the World Cup to the African Cup of Nations?
The Super Eagles, actually, they failed us because the last World Cup, we did not go. And now this is the second 2 World Cup in a row that we have missed.
True.
So we as a fans, we are not supposed to be happy and be rejoicing. I want to be. The Nations Cup is what we've been playing for the past how many years. But World Cup is, it's very special.
True.
But at least, now we're in the Nations Cup. So what we need for Nations Cup is that Super Eagles need to give their all. What I mean, they give their all. They need to play a good football because football has changed. But I believe that this is our coach, Eric Shell. He's doing a great job at Super Eagles. since he started handling the Super Eagles, I mean, I've seen a lot of changes in Super Eagles. The style of play, the players he invite to the camp, I mean, they are giving their all. So I was so disappointed the Super Eagles not go to the World Cup. I was so disappointed, but I know this Nations Cup that the Super Eagles are going, they are favourites. I mean, when I mean favourite, I mean they are one of the favourites to carry the Nations Cup because you know in Africa, the Super Eagles, they are a giant of Africa. When I mean giant, we have players. When you call people like Osimhen, Ademola Lookman, you know those players are players that if you have those kind of players in your team, you need the best from that team. And I know that Super Eagles with the likes of Osimhen in that team, I know Super Eagles they are going to give us a good football this tournament, and I know that they will try. Let us watch and see what they will give us. But I believe that they are going to go somewhere. They go far. I believe that.
All right, the Super Eagles will go far in this year's African Cup of Nations according to Abie. But then, Ola, let me turn to you. The group that the Super Eagles find themselves has the likes of, the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia and some other team out there. Do you see Super Eagles coming out of that group?
I think Super Eagles have a much easier group than any other team because having the likes of Tanzania, Uganda, and Tunisia, I don't see any team beating Nigeria in this Nations Cup. But it's football. You don't know what can happen. But I believe the Super Eagles will come out victorious in that group.
All right, we believe that the Super Eagles will come out victorious in that group as we speak. Don't forget, their match comes up tomorrow. And most Nigerian followers, of course, the Super Eagles followers are very, very hopeful that they are going to kickstart their African Cup of Nations with victory come tomorrow. Will that be the case? A wait to see. In the Super Eagles team that some have said that without Victor Osimhen, the Super Eagles seem to be a dead team. Do you agree with that?
Yes. It has shown. Even the last match we played against DR Congo, and you can see for yourself that when Osimhen was in the match, in the first half it was balanced. We played DR Congo, they were always at their back defending. But in the second half, when Osimhen got injured and was pulled up, the match got to 0. The Super Eagles, we are just playing around the field, they were just lost. When I mean lost, because one man we just left the match. So Super Eagles are going to find it very difficult if Osimhen is not around. So that is one place that the Super Eagles need to find solution to. And so that in case Osimhen is not around, they can have other players that can fit into the shoes of Osimhen and deliver when I mean delivers, score the goal, get the goals that the team need. So with such Osimhen, it's very difficult for the Super Eagles, and that's a very, very bad one. The Super Eagles need to look into that. The coach need to look into that.
All right, Coach Eric Chow, if you can listen or if you can hear us, you need to look into how to be able to fix a team and make it a holistic team and not a team of one man, because it looks as though whenever Victor James Osimhen is not 100% fit for the Super Eagles, we seem to find it difficult to score goals. And of course, this shouldn't be the case, because football is, of course, more like a game of unity. It's not about a one-man game. It's a collective, effort. Because if the defenders doing their bit, midfielders doing their bit, strikers, wingers, that is how you get to build a good team. Not just building a team around one man. And whenever such man is not available, it seems to disrupt the chemistry of a team. But at this point, we'll take a quick break. When we are back in the second half of the show, we'll dive straight to Europe. We'll bring you some of the big results, that came through in top 5 leagues across Europe. And then Abie and Ola will definitely tell us the club which they support on the show today. We'll be back in a jiffy. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. You are still onto Atlantic Television Network, and this is a Sport Extra, where we will talk the extraordinary things happening in the world of sports. I'm Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways, and I'm not here alone in the building this evening because I have two gentlemen, one on my right and one on my left, Abie Sekibo, and of course Olani Bekun Solomon, aka Ola, the Arsenal. Okay, I will leave that. He will introduce himself properly. But then, I had already done that. I forgot to add that he supports a very special club. So, Ola is a staunch Arsenal fan. And Abie also a staunch Arsenal fan. And are here with me. Together we are bringing you up to speed with the latest happenings in the world of sports. Don't forget the big talking point. The AFCON officially kicked off yesterday with Morocco, the host country, beating Comoros 2-0. And the big question has been, can Morocco host and win this year's edition of the AFCON? And for Arsenal, they managed to get all 3 points against a very resilient Everton over the weekend. Thereby, maintain their lead at the top of the table. But then, just 2 points better off Manchester City. And we are asking, does this show the gradual decline of Arsenal form for this season? But before we head to the English Premier League, let me also tell you that a CAF decision to switch the African Cup of Nations to a 4-year cycle from 2028 has sparked a widespread debate across African football, with many observers highlighting the influence of FIFA's president Gianni Infantino. Announcing the change in Rabat on Saturday, CAF president Patrice Motsepe said the shift would take effect after 2027 African Cup of Nations. Ola, before we talk the English Premier League, African Cup of Nations after 2027 edition, the 2028, the CAF president Patrice Motsepe said it's going to be for 4 years and no longer, biennial stuff. Do you like the African Cup of Nations to be hosted for 4 years, or you think it should better stick with the normal arrangements?
I think it's a very good one, at least to balance the calendar of the European teams. Because the European teams are complaining of losing some of the African players, which is very bad. Like the likes of Man United, Sunderland, and Fulham, losing some of the key players, and I don't think it's good for the team. And I think that is the reason most big clubs don't sign
African players.
Exactly.
If not, the likes of Osimhen, Ademola Lookman are supposed to be playing in a big club, not in Galatasaray and Atlanta. They are bigger than that. I think it's a very good one.
All right, a good decision taken by Patrice Motsepe to, of course, alter the calendar of CAF football so that it will also align with the European calendar, where players will have no struggles leaving their club side, because many club side they are complaining that the timing of the African Cup of Nations is not good for their title hopeful, as the January-December timing is a crucial time in the top 5 leagues in Europe for teams that want to win the title. But then their key players leaves for AFCON, and it definitely affects their progress in the club level. The likes of Manchester United, they are suffering the same fate because Bryan Mbeumo have left for the AFCON. The likes of Ahmad also left. You talk about other teams in Europe, likes of Ibrahim Diaz, of course, he scored one of the goals yesterday for Morocco. He left. Many other African players, likes of Fulham, there will be the worst hit as well, because Kelvin Bassey, Alex Iwobi, and of course our own Samuel Chukwueze, they are also affected. So I think it's a nice one to see the AFCON calendar try to align with that of Europeans, so that both the clubs and the players will be very happy. Taking a look at the inconveniences how it costs clubs. That is why FIFA and CAF even had to reach an agreement for this year's edition that club side will hold their players until the 15th of this December before releasing their player. That is 6 days before the AFCON. But before, it was more like club side should release their players for the AFCON 2 weeks or probably 3 weeks before the start of the competition. All right, so we'll see how all of this will go. But let's leave the AFCON and head straight to the English Premier League and serve you some of the results that came through over the weekend, because Aston Villa beat struggling Manchester United 2-1 at the Villas Park, and Newcastle United played 2-2 against Chelsea, while Bournemouth were held at home by Burnley 1-1. Brighton and Hove Albion played 0s against Sunderland, while Manchester City, the Citizens, beat West Ham United 3-0. Wolves, continue to struggle as they were beaten at home by Brentford 2-0. Tottenham Hotspur lost narrowly to Liverpool 2-1, while Everton, they could not stun Arsenal, as Arsenal, managed a 1-0 victory. Leeds United, indeed, they united in order to disunite Crystal Palace in 4-1. Ola, let me turn to you. A staunch Arsenal fan you are, but Arsenal these days, they are just managing to get all 3 points against lowly rated team that you should expect Arsenal to beat like 5-0. But then you saw against Wolves, they struggled before winning that game. In fact, the winning goal came via own goal at the dying minute. Against Everton, Arsenal struggled to win just 1-0. With the way an Arsenal is just managing to win games this time around, do you think that they are gradually reducing the way and manner they started the league?
No, I don't think so. Because I believe that football is a game of 50-50. But Arsenal team is very, very balanced. By this time last season, I think we would have dropped about 9 to 7 points, losing the league to Liverpool. So I believe Arteta is doing a good job. He's doing a very great job, and he's a very good coach. Not winning the league this season means his job is at risk. And I see Arsenal, they are doing well, because getting the 3 points against Everton and Wolves, the 3 goals against Wolves were own goals. They were scored by Wolves. But it doesn't matter in football. In a game of league, it's who takes all 3 points that matters. Not losing to a smaller team and going to win a bigger team.
True.
I believe Arsenal is going to win.
All right, Abia, with the way Arsenal is just managing to win games, is this the beginning of a time where we say that Arsenal are beginning to show that signs of weakness? Because Arsenal, whenever the league gets to December, January, that is the time where they always struggle, especially when injuries set in. Will you say that this is that time where Arsenal will begin to struggle?
You are right, actually, because this is the time that Arsenal always get their woes. But looking at the way Arsenal are playing their ball, it's different compared to last season. Because if you're last season, by now Arsenal fans, our hope will be down, because the injury that hit Saliba and Gabriel, you'd have made Arsenal to lose more matches. But if you look, when Gabriel and Saliba were injured, at least the team, they struggle, they try their best to maintain, to grind out points, no matter how hard the match is. They try their best to grind out points. So, looking at the way the last 2 matches we have been struggling to win match, I know it's not easy to win a down relegation team that wants to play their best, because anything that jams Arsenal now is that they play their best. I don't know why it's like that, because anything that jams Arsenal is like, I don't know the problem. It's like everybody just they hate Arsenal, they want us to play it, but small, gradually we are going, and I know it's not good, because we have dropped some points. We lost to Aston Villa, struggled against Wolves, struggled against Everton, but we still got our 3 points. So it's a good one. I don't say anything bad there. What I know is that it's football. Football, you don't just win always. You win and you lose some. But I believe the way my boys are going, this season, we are there. We'll play our best. We'll give their all to make sure this season is our season. And I can say for your father, this season is Arsenal season.
All right, this season is a season for Arsenal. We have been hearing this in the last 6 years, that this season is a season for Arsenal. This season is a season for Arsenal.
This season is unique.
It's more like a cliche. But then we'll just wait to see. One big thing and interesting aspect about Arsenal for this season is that they have a very, very rich squad. I cannot dispute that. There is squad depth. If you sub one player, you are bringing in a like-to-like replacement. This is what Arsenal, has been missing for the past 4-5 seasons right now. Because when injury sets in to the likes of Bukayo Saka, it looks as though Arsenal collapse because there is no proper replacement for that particular win. But these days, you can see a good replacement. If Saka is not there, Noni Madueke has been doing a great job.
Exactly.
Talk about the midfield. Odegaard, when he goes in on injury, look as though the creativity is cut off from Arsenal. But then, Eberechi Eze is in. He can also hold his own in that particular space as well. You go to the left wing, Martinelli is not in. Eze can also operate in that left-hand side. They talk about Trossard. They talk about the defensive midfield. Yes, Declan Rice, ever stable, ever present. Backed up by Zubimendi. In the defense line, Saliba, White, if they are not there, Hincapi steps in. Though it might not be the perfect replacement, but then they are trying to, of course, pick some broken pieces whenever it's not around. But then, Ola, let's go beyond the squad depth of Arsenal this season. If Mikel Arteta failed to win the English Premier League this season or the UEFA Champions League, do you think he should be sacked?
Yes, very sure. I think he should be sacked. Maybe he just created a very good team for another coach to win the league. So I think if he does not win the Premier League or the Champions League this season, he should be sacked.
Abie, Arsenal were one of the highest spender under Mikel Arteta as we speak right now. In fact, in the history of Arsenal coaches, he has spent more than any other managers. Yet, just one Carling Cup, one FA Cup and one Community Shield. Will you say that Mikel Arteta has failed in the last 6 years compared with the amount of money that he has spent and then just winning only FA Cup and Carling Cup? Will you say, let's forget sentiment. I know you're a staunch Arsenal fan, but as a coach, 6 good years you've spent huge. Not even, Wenger, the prof, do spend this way because he rely on the academy. But this man has been spending big. 6 years, no English Premier League title, no European title like the third tier of European football, talking about the Conference League, and no UEFA champion. Will you say that Mikel Arteta has failed in these 6 years?
I will not conclude by saying he has failed. I won't conclude because he came in, the first season he came in, won the FA Cup, and since then, no title. I won't conclude by saying he has failed because if you watch back in the days when Sir Alex Ferguson coached Manchester United, he stayed for almost 5 to 6 years before giving Manchester United their first league title. So now come back to this season now. Arteta has spent much. When I mean much, he has been the highest spender for Arsenal. But I know that he's going to give Arsenal what Arsenal need. And Arsenal is a very patient club that they don't just sack coach like that. They always give their coach time. And I know for these 5-6 years he hasn't given Arsenal fans what they need. But this is the last. I know this year is the last chance, and this is the last time that we Arsenal fans, the club, we are giving him. And we know that this season, if he doesn't give us what the club needs, I think that's going to be a goodbye for him. Goodbye. It's going to be a goodbye for him.
Goodbye for Mikel Arteta if he doesn't win the English Premier League or the UEFA Champions League for this season. But before we leave the English Premier League, let's also let you know that Ruben Amorim fears that Bruno Fernandes will be out for a while after the Manchester United captain was injured during Sunday's 2-1 defeat against Aston Villa at the Villas Park. Ola, let me bring you in. Bruno Fernandes seems to be the only reliable, above average quite a quality player for Manchester United. Now that he's injured, do you think that Manchester United problem will worsen?
Yes, losing the likes of Ahmad, Mbeumo, and now Fernandez to injury. I think Manchester United rules will continue because Amorim is failing to know that his tactics is not working. Tactics. There are traditional formations used in those clubs. Man United is a traditional formation of 4-3-3, and you have to play it. There are good players in that team, but Manchester United are not playing like a big team. They are playing like a team that is struggling. And Manchester United team, the coach is supposed to be rebuilding the team, not adding over 8 players to the team, causing more wounds to injury to the team. I think Amorim should be sacked, and he is not the right man for it.
Abie, do you agree with him? Is Ruben Amorim not the right man? We saw what he did with Lisbon. In fact, it was because of how good he was. That is why Manchester United brought him.
You're talking about is Portugal, far Portugal, not England. And you know, Portugal football is different from English football. And since he came to England, he's supposed to adjust to that England football. But he thinks that his formation, his tactics, he used back there at Portugal is going to work for him here at Manchester United. But for some months now, he has seen and it has shown that he's not working. And he's a very stubborn coach. Very stubborn coach that he refused to change that same pattern. So I don't think it's him continuing that pattern. I don't think Manchester United is going anywhere. The best for him is just to leave the club because he feels that his formation is the best. He feels that formation is what is going to take Manchester United to where they wish to. But I don't think, because the way Manchester United are playing, that coach is not the coach for them. You need to just leave the club, just resign and go away, so that you can start from there and look for a new coach to carry them to the greater heights.
All right, we are gradually running out of time. But then, before we leave, I would like to take the final opinion of Ola, a staunch Arsenal faithful. In fact, the whole of Ogbogro, these two men that appear to this evening on Atlantic Television Network as staunch Arsenal fan. They are representing their hood for life. Ola, once more, Arsenal this season, which of these two trophies do you think that they should prioritize in winning? The UEFA Champions League or the English Premier League?
I don't think they should just pick one out of the two.
Yes.
I think they should go for the 4.
Oh.
Make other things feel like you are there to win the trophy.
Serious.
And you are there for all.
Serious.
So I think
Compete
they should
for
go for all.
Do you think that Arsenal has the squad depth to go for all?
Of course. Arsenal has, as in like
because we've seen Arsenal struggle just because Saliba and Ben White, is not there in the defense line.
Yes. It's true for what he said. But if you look now, Saliba is back. And I know Gabriel is going to come back. So Arsenal don't need to go to choose, say, we want to win Premier League. No, go for all. Go for all the titles. Then anyone you feel is strong enough to hold your hand, you hit. But for me, I think Arsenal should compete for all the titles.
All right, Arsenal should compete for all the titles. They should go out to gun down every opponent and lay their hands, especially on the UEFA Champions League. Very, very important. The Holy Grail. They have not. The first time they got to the final, 2006, this same Arsenal faithful right here in the building almost starved for 3 good days, talking about Ola, and I don't want to see my friend starve yet again for this season. But then we are running out of time. I did a show this evening alongside Abie Hossel, but I call him Abie Sekibo. Yes, he's Arsenal secretary in the whole of Ogbogoro. And of course, Olanik Mekun Solomon, a.k.a. Ola, is the Arsenal chairman right here. If you have not met these two guys, you just need to meet them before they can endorse your passage to become a full member of Arsenal. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways. Before we leave, let's tell you that our sports extraordinary for today goes to no other team than Morocco. You know why? Morocco's 2-0 win over Comoros extended their world record run of consecutive victories by a national team to 19 games, the longest unbeaten streak ever recorded for a senior men's side in the history of football. Massive for Morocco. On that note, we say more programs will come your way right here on Atlantic Television Network. We are out of here. We'll make a return tomorrow morning for more programs.
Tension my life.
This beast.
Small, yeah. If I ever lie to the world, I can never lie to myself. If I ever lose